Go ahead, turn it up. It's the Record Machine Show with your host, Jimmy Howe.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is Mike Floros from the band SteelCity, and you're listening to Jimmy Hall on the Record Machine Show. Here's our song, Dead Man, off of our album, Mach 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the band SteelCity, guitarist Mike Floros. So how you doing, Mike?
Hey, man, what's happening? What's going on?
Not much, man. You know, the last time we spoke on the air, I believe it was for SteelCity, and it was April of 2021, and I think you guys were doing a Brad Lee show out there in Maryland with a few bands. I think it was like Kickin' Valentina and Asphalt Valentine and Native Sons and Wild America, if my memory serves me right.
Your memory serves you very well, sir. I do say so. Yeah, that was a fun show. Bradley events are always pretty well thought out, and that was fantastic, man. It was a blast playing with those guys. Get to meet guys like Kickin' Valentina, and of course all of Bill Chavis's bands. And then Billy and I, we go back, so it's been it was fun playing with all those dudes. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Billy's cool. I never met any of Bill Chavis's guys, like Native Sons or Asphalt Valentine for that matter, but they were on my show I think at least once, and they're very cool, and they got some great music too. Yeah,
Ashton just had his Native Sons just had their release party, and they played a gig in Nashville for his band's new album, Shadowhead,
nice,
which just came out. So yeah, and I would have loved to have been able to attend that, but it is what it is. Sometimes you can't make them all, man.
That's true.
Best success to those guys for sure. Love those dudes.
Yeah, they're great. Now you have another big show coming up April 12th at the Whisky, and you're going to be playing with Roxy Blue, Band Inc., Stonebreed, Alice Loves Alien, Renegade Cartel, and Lost Hearts. The tickets are available now at whiskyagogo.com. Now, can you talk about how this show came about?
Yeah, that's a mouthful of bands, isn't it?
Sure is.
Yeah, it was that's just pretty amazing. I think about that now. Like, there's 7 bands on this bill, and all of those bands are just top shelf guys. So the gig came about because Jason Cornwell, our bassist, called me, and he asked if I would be interested in playing the Whisky, and he asked me if I thought Roxy Blue would be interested in playing the Whisky, and I told him, I said, I'm not sure, but I could reach out to Todd, and I could ask him, and so I ended up talking with Todd on the phone, and he's like, yeah, man, we never played the Whisky back in the day. So he goes, this is going to be really fun for us. And so when Roxy Blue came on board, kind of everything else kind of fell into place. Jason set everything up, and within a week to a week and a half, we had 5 bands. And then another couple of bands reached out to us and asked if they wanted to be on the bill as well. And so we were like, hey, the more the merrier, man. You want to come on board, we're happy to have you. And the last band to come aboard was Lost Hearts, which is Victor Adriel and JT. They're both from Native Sons, and that's their kind of like their new project or their new band. Okay. They're out of Nashville. So it should be, like I said, we know at least one person in every single one of these bands. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a blast for us. JC, I think, knows the world. So
I've had Todd Poole on the show from Roxy, and also had Juliana from Band Inc. on, and they were both great guests.
Oh, they're fantastic, which reminds me, I need to call Todd. I need to talk to him. But yeah, they're fantastic people, man. And every time we get to see, like, I've gone to see Band Inc. a few times, just here locally, as I have Stonebreed, because Stonebreed is from Los Angeles, and they play here locally quite often. Mm-hmm. It's always just a blast to go see these guys. And whenever we get together with Roxy Blue, like we've played a few shows with Roxy Blue now as well, it's always just, man, it's a great time. And, everybody's so down to earth, and you think, rock stars, and everybody's just humble. We're all just regular folks.
Todd was like super cool and very talkative. I was able to just like sit back and let him tell his stories, and he had some great ones. He was a great guest.
Yeah, for sure. And I need to preface or clarify something I said when I said rock stars. I do not include myself.
That's funny. Now, with all these bands that are going to be on the bill, is there anyone in particular that you're looking forward to seeing play that night?
The only answer I could tell you is all of them, because, like I said, we've had the pleasure of playing with Roxy Blue before, and love the energy that they bring live. I mean, they're fantastic, man. But some of these bands, like I've seen Stonebreed before, love them. They're great. I was so happy when they said, yeah, we would love to do that gig with you guys. And I've seen Band Inc. Like I said, Juliana's awesome. I think it's funny side story. She has a Pomeranian, and as do I. So it's like we're like dog buddies. But there's bands on this bill that I have not seen, but I know people. Like I know Shannon Wilk from Alice Loves Alien. And their guitar player, Mr. Clark, is one hell of a player, and their singer's amazing. So I'm just really kind of looking forward to this. And Renegade Cartel, seen a few of their videos on YouTube, and their music's pretty strong, and those guys seem really cool. So I'm just looking forward to all of it. And of course, Lost Hearts being a new band, this is their first gig, and so I think this is their first gig at least. So we're all just really excited to kind of just get in there and jam with each other and have a good time. There isn't so long answer, but I'm looking forward to seeing all of them, every last one of them. There's nobody in particular that I'm looking forward to one over another.
So will this be your first gig at the Whisky?
Yeah, it sure will. There's a lot of us on this bill that it's going to be our first gig at the Whisky. A lot of us. I think Stonebreed and Band Inc. are like the Whisky legends. They've been there, quite a few times. They're regulars. When I talked to Todd, he told me, he said back in the day, they never played the Whisky. Mm-hmm. And I was shocked to hear that. And I don't think Roy has either.
Wow.
Roy Cathy has either. So yeah, this is my first time playing it. And not that, night before NAMM, who knows who's going to be there. There's no pressure.
Right. Now, will there be a photographer on hand that night to take pictures?
Actually, there will be. I just spoke with, by text message this morning with a photographer by the name of Joe Schaefer is going to be there. And I actually need to talk to Shannon Wilk because, as you know, that is a girl of many talents. She's, rock photographer. She does interviews. She's a killer bass player. She's, basically a superstar in all things rock and roll. So I might have to ask her if we can't, set aside some time to maybe do a photo shoot as well.
And you know what you need them to do? You need them to step out onto the street and take a picture of the marquee with your name on it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Be really exciting to actually see that up there. And just, I don't know. This is supposed to be, the Whisky is the place, when you have people, I believe, like the Doors that have played there. And all, of course, the 80s Sunset Strip guys. All of these famous bands have played the Whisky. Kiss has played the Whisky.
Yep.
I mean, when you think about all the bands that have been there, it's kind of like it's just pretty amazing to think, wow, you're going to be standing on that stage as well.
Is this a bucket list item for you?
I guess it is. I never. It's going to sound funny, but I never really gave this that much thought until Jason got the gig. If that makes any sense.
No, it does.
But now it's like I never really thought about it that much. But when Jason, put all this, together and he connected the dots, then you start thinking about it. You're like, wow, I'm playing the Whisky. Wild America played the Whisky, and I remember when it happened, Billy was like super excited to do it. So,
I'm sure.
Yeah, and he was like really excited. Like at the end of the night when and they said, after they were done with their set, they're like, Wild America, a taste of Van Halen at the Whisky, because Billy's got like a very Van Halen-y sound when he plays.
Right.
And so and I know that, like, I think that made his millennium, at least musically, when that happened. So good for him.
I'm sure. Now, do you get like pre-show jitters, especially with a gig like this? Are you going to be nerved up?
Oh my gosh. I think I'm notorious for being the most nervous person alive.
Really?
Before a show. Yes.
So how do you overcome that? A drink?
No, I normally I would say a drink, but I have not had, an alcoholic beverage since New Year's Eve. And I'm not really a big drinker. And I just wonder if I had one drink before that show, what would happen? How buzzed would I be from one drink?
Maybe have a whiskey at the Whisky.
Yeah, that might be the thing. Get a shot of ouzo and go on stage. I know everybody's favorite is ouzo because everybody just loves that black licorice. So.
Oh, I can't stand that stuff.
Ouzo, Sambuca, take your pick.
I would have a Jack and Diet Coke, something like that.
I think that's like rock and roll standard right there. But,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, rock and roll guy walks into a bar. Hey, what are you gonna have? Oh wait, I already know.
Jack
and
and
Coke. There you go. Yeah.
I like vodka too, though. I'd probably maybe do like a vodka seltzer or something like that.
Yeah, that might work. Vodka and Gatorade was something that I used to drink when I was in school.
Yeah, they call that Gators.
Oh, really? So that's actually a thing.
Yeah, and the thing with that is, people get hungover from alcohol, but there's electrolytes in the Gatorade, so it kind of helps you out when you drink it. The hangover isn't as bad.
I just figured Gatorade's cheap, and you just throw some orange Gatorade in there, and you're good to go. But right. I never really thought about it other than that. But it makes a lot of sense. Well,
I guess you'll know as it gets closer to the night or the night of the show how nervous you're going to be. I mean, what are you going on like next to last, right? Next to last,
yes. So I'm guessing we're probably going to go on somewhere around 10 o'clock. And so I get to have all those nerves all day and all night. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Roy, he's always like, Mike, I got to tell you, man, you need to calm the F down. Well, he's probably going to have the biggest, him, Jason, Anthony, Tony, they're all going to have the biggest chore, probably keeping me calm throughout the day.
Yeah. Well, if you're not a big drinker, you better lay off some of the booze then, because you don't want to be shit-faced before it's time to go on.
Yeah,
that would be a disaster.
Yeah, that might not work out so well. Yeah, Steel City would never play the Whisky again. So we can't have that. That's
funny. Now, the last Steel City album, Mach 2, that came out in 2020, around the time the pandemic hit, which pretty much put the kibosh on any shows, or it was even affecting a lot of people's sales too. Now, what are your plans with Steel City for the future?
We're actually going to be having that particular conversation when the guys all get here in a couple of weeks, because we're the landscape of the music business is changing, and it seems like a lot of things are very singles oriented now. So we've talked about possibly just doing some singles, and then eventually including them in an album. We've got enough material written where we could do an album, but we're not really sure what's going to happen because when Roy and I talked as well, I pretty much wrote the last Steel City album. And then of course Roy came in, put his spin on a lot of things, and he asked if he could change some lyrics here and there to make it flow a little bit more comfortably for him. And this time around, we're talking about it. We'd probably really rather do something where Roy is more heavily involved in the writing process. And I think to a man, we'd all just be a lot more comfortable if the band itself was just more creatively involved, so we can do something more together rather than just be, Mike writes some songs and we put them on an album. We all really kind of want to be a little bit more involved creatively. So we have to kind of talk about that when we get together in the next couple of weeks. But I think we're all excited about the prospect of whatever we're going to do and moving forward with the music.
Yeah. And the one thing that we've learned from this pandemic is you can actually work from home. So you guys could actually do writing sessions via Zoom too, right? You don't necessarily even have to be in North Carolina or him being in Los Angeles.
Oh, 100%. And, I don't even know if you need to go so far as to do things by Zoom. You could still just pick up a phone and call somebody and just kind of have a conversation. You could send mixes back and forth across across the computer. As you know, I've got another band called Love and Chains, and Rob Kane and I, and Jason, and then Brian Carl, we're all we're working on a covers EP. And so, Rob and I initially, we've been shooting ideas back and forth to one another. And then of course we shoot them to the other guys as well. And we can all collaborate that way. there's just so many things you could do with today's technology that, there is no, the barrier of, land is not what it used to be. I don't have to fly to North Carolina to do something with Roy or Boston with Jason. We can all just kind of do all this stuff over the phone.
Right.
And that's going to be really fun. And I'm looking forward to it because quite honestly, I really, really want everybody to feel more band oriented and more, and I want it to be like a we thing or an us thing.
Right.
And I think the guys do too, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that would be cool. This podcast is going to feature two of the tracks off of Mach 2, one being Dead Man and the other one Down to One. What's the story behind those two songs?
Well, they're both kind of personal for different reasons. Dead Men was, I think everybody's been, how can I say this? The song was written about basically being the rebound person, and not someone being your rebound person, but you being theirs.
Okay.
And, you meet this person and you think that they're everything for you. They're, they're, sunshine in your pocket, whatever you want to say. You think everything is going great. And then it's like, you realize that the other shoe drops and you're just basically, like I said, you're the rebound guy or you're the rebound girl and you're getting dumped. That's what the song's about. As I fall through the black, look in your eyes. It's, you thought you were up here, on the pinnacle, and instead you're just basically walking the plank and getting just thrown into the abyss.
Wow.
And so that's what that song's about.
Mm-hmm.
It is about a particular person, but I'm not going to name that person.
Right.
So, but then of course Down to One is it's been discussed before. That song's just basically an open love letter to my wife. I was pretty much resolved to moving back to Tampa, Florida. I'd been in Los Angeles for a couple of years, and I enjoyed my time here, but I thought, you know what, this really, I don't know if it's the spot for me. And I was ready to move back to Florida. I was ready to move on. And I met my wife and my whole life changed. And, that's where, this is, I guess, whether I love LA or not is unimportant. This is where I'm meant to be because it's where she is.
Right. So, you go wherever she goes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And you already know, guys, we all like to think that we rule the roost, but yeah, we know.
Right.
We know who really does.
Exactly.
Like, okay. Yeah. If you want to live and just have a nice life, there's a lot of yes here.
Yeah, well,
in your life.
That old saying, happy wife, happy life, it's true.
It is true. I will say this, however, there's another saying that I made up.
Okay.
Happy man should be your plan. So.
You say that to your wife? Or you just say that to your buddies?
I know I've said it to my wife, and I might have walked with a limp for a couple of weeks, but that's aside from the point.
Any of your guitars missing after you made that comment?
A couple of
up on eBay.
Never anything missing, but a string or two might have been broken or something. No.
That's funny. Now, you mentioned before your other project, or your other band, I should say, Love and Chains with Rob Kane, great singer. You guys put out an album called Everyday Heroes last year, which to me was a solid 10, even had a cover on there, Kiss cover. Now, you mentioned a few moments ago that you guys are working on an EP with covers. Any timeline as to when that's coming out, and what bands are you covering?
Well, there's no, I wouldn't say there's a real timeline in regard to that. The one thing, when you're working with guys like Jason Cornwell and Brian Carl, who are involved in other bands, your timeline is whatever time allows. We'd like to have something out, hopefully by the end of the year. That's the goal. And what we're doing, since Rob and I are both from the Youngstown, Ohio area, and actually Jason's wife is actually from that area too, we're doing a little something we're going to call, we have a title tentatively, we'd like to tentatively call it the Rust Belt. And we're going to cover bands and or songs that are either from the Northeast Ohio, Northwest Pennsylvania area. That, you know, we'd like to cover bands and songs that kind of reflect the, I guess the area. And for instance, one of the bands we've actually thought about doing, we've got demo tracks done for it, is Kool and the Gang.
Wow.
And while they're not actually, they're from Jersey City, but you know, both you know, the Bell brothers were actually born in Youngstown, Ohio, so we kind of figure that counts. But yeah, and you know, a hard rock band covering Kool and the Gang should be pretty interesting. But bands like Kool and Gang is one of them. Michael Stanley Band is another. Donnie Iris and the Cruisers is someone else, you know, that we're definitely going to do. There's a band from the Cleveland area. They were called Boku. We've actually already got that song completed. And then we've been talking with someone about possibly, you know, doing Cleveland Rocks and having them use that for one of their projects. So we'll see.
Very cool. Now, you're doing a show at the Whisky, like we mentioned before, next month.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Now, do you have any plans to do any shows with Love and Chains anytime soon?
There's nothing in the works for Love and Chains right now. It's not that we don't want to. It's just that those opportunities haven't come up yet. And, you know, I hate to keep reverting back to this, but we kind of have to make sure that all of our schedules match up so we can do that. I would love to do something, you know, with Love and Chains and say like Nashville, because Brian actually lives in Nashville. It's a short trip. It's a short trip for Rob, and it's a fun place for, you know, Jason and I to go as well. There are some other shows on the horizon for Steel City, but since there's no contract signed yet, I can't really talk too much about those. But there are shows on the horizon for Steel City in regard to, you know, some future dates in the fall.
That sounds pretty cool. Now, if you could do a collaboration with any artist, who would it be and why?
Oh gosh, tough call. You know, it's hard to say. I'd like to say that, you know, my goodness, we're just talking people that are around right now. Yes.
They don't have to be anybody famous either. It could be anybody that you've seen, you know, out on the scene that you thought were pretty cool.
You know, I've never, ever done any music with like a female singer. You know, so I mean, you know, to do something with like, you know, with somebody like maybe Electra Barakos or, you know, or Juliana. Or, you know, Lee Jones, you had her on your show a couple of weeks ago. Somebody like that. I think it would be fun to do something with a female singer because I've never done that before. I think that'd be interesting. As far as like famous people, oh gosh, man. I'd love to play with maybe Rod Morgenstein from Winger, because he to me is like the best drummer ever. Love that guy. I mean, it's like every time I listen to a Winger album, I'm just blown away. You know, being a guitar player, I would never want to pick up a guitar in front of Red Beach or even be near a guitar while Red Beach is close by. But, you know, it's just something about Morgenstein's playing that just really is just, it's outer worldly. And that guy just, to me, it's just like one of the greatest things about listening to a Winger album, aside from Reb's playing, Kip singing, Paul Taylor's, you know, keyboard playing and songwriting, you know, the whole shebang bang.
Very cool. Now, what is it about music that makes you feel passionate?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. And I think it's music as far as like whether you're just an aficionado of it, you know, just someone who likes to listen to music or just someone who plays it. I think it's just something that is born within you. I think it's just something that's there. And for me, your question was what about it gives me passion? Is that what you said basically?
Yeah, what is it about music that makes you feel passionate?
It's an escape. It really is. You know, when you have, you know, a real job, you know, with legitimate responsibilities, for me it is just an absolute escape from that, and it allows me to, I guess, just be me. and to create and to just feel free.
Therapeutic, right? Especially when you're writing lyrics too, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's like, sometimes one of the only ways you can get over things like a heartbreak is to write about it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the only way that you can really convey, how much you love someone is to write about it. Those are things that are just, things that happen in your life. Something that's touched you on an emotional level. It's just the best way you can do is just to get things out in your writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God every day that, He blessed me with that ability,
It's like an open diary, right? For everyone to read or hear.
Yeah, without being too Taylor Swiftish. Sure.
Right. Now, outside of music, what are your interests? What do you like to do, like for fun, hobbies, stuff like that?
Oh, gosh. Well, I've always been a weightlifter.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most interesting things that's happened since COVID is I no longer lift weights. Because you couldn't go to the gym for the first, however long it was.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that coming, one of the things I did is I ordered a band system to work out with at home. And so it's fantastic. I have 600 pounds of band resistance that I work out in, and I could work out in literally like a 3-foot space in my house. And so instead of being an avid weightlifter now, I'm an avid band lifter. And I like, kind of that weightlifting thing and just always trying to keep yourself in shape. I love watching sports. I think anybody who's followed me on Facebook knows that I'm a big Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders fan,
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay Lightning. Those are, football and hockey are probably my two favorite sports. It used to be a bigger Cleveland Indians fan. Now they're the Guardians. So I'm crazy about that. Yeah. We're not going to talk about that name change, but I'd say watching sports, spending time with my family is always really cool. We like to go, my wife and I like to go to different places. Like when we get days off together, we like to travel about California, go to places like Solvang, or just maybe go on some hikes, find some cool places like in Ojai or something we can go hiking. And
Mm-hmm.
that's fun. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Now, who's in your playlist?
Right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who you listening to?
Well, I already gave it away probably just a few minutes ago, but I've been listening to that Lee Jones CD a lot. And I know it's like kind of like that disco R&B soul kind of thing, but I just love that CD. Yeah, I think it's great.
Awesome.
And and I've been listening to Shadowhead from the Native Sons. Like I said, I don't really listen to a lot of the old school bands as much as I do. Like when I hear my friends are coming out with new music, I tend to listen to their music more than I do the famous people. And I don't gear myself towards, bands that are going to be, on big festivals or whatever. I kind of gravitate towards my friends because I like to see what they're doing. I think those relationships are, they're good to have. And it's always great to support people that you know and that you feel good about associating yourself with.
Cool. Now, what are your plans for the rest of 2023?
Oh gosh. Well, hopefully the first plan will work, which is just to, as Matthew McConaughey would say, just to keep on living, man. LIVIN. But other than that, I just work. Working on stuff musically at home when I can.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, have a couple of vacations with the missus this year. That's really, really important to me. Just to be able to go and enjoy myself and go travel to a couple of different places, hopefully out of country, or even if it's like still in the United States, just to go someplace that I've never been.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the really fun things that we've talked about doing for the past couple of years is to travel, get in the car, travel all the way up to Seattle, and then just take, Washington coast, Oregon coast, California coast, all the way on back down to Los Angeles. I think if we have enough time to do that this year, that's something that, Tanya and I would just love to do. So who knows?
That's pretty cool. Now, do you have a website you'd like to promote?
Sure. If anybody's interested in, learning about, SteelCity or learning about Love and Chains, there's my S Corp is called Idora Entertainment. So the website is www.idora, entertainment.com. And you could find links to the Idora Entertainment Bandcamp on there if you'd like to purchase physical CDs or digital copies. And learn a little bit about each band. The EPK for each band is on there. It's downloadable if people want to download it. And we're also going to be reopening our store here probably within about the next week. It's been ready for a while. I just had to work through like the legality issues, this stuff like, what do you do? Like, what do you charge for taxes and stuff like that? So I had to go out and talk to a tax professional. Now that I got all of that stuff squared away, we'll probably be re-debuting the store with some new merch, and hopefully it'll be cool and people will dig it.
Awesome. Now, is there anything you'd like to mention that we didn't talk about today?
The first thing that I could say is the most important thing is just to anybody out there that's listening, that's supported Steel City, that's supported Love and Chains, or any of our bands, like, because all the guys have other projects as well. Just thank you, because you're the reason we get to keep going. It's this genre is a very tiny genre. It's most of the people are well versed in like the really famous bands like your Wingers, your Warrants, your Whitesnakes, the Europes, Kiss, Van Halen, whatever. I mean, they're really kind of well versed in those bands, but the people that like actually seek out bands like mine, bands like Native Sons, bands like Wild America, bands like The Fifth, if you're seeking us out, I speak for all of us. I'm sure we just want to say thank you. That really means a lot to all of us.
Very cool. Now, well, Mike, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's always great chatting with you. It's like chatting with a buddy all the time. You know what I mean?
Well, it's because you are my buddy.
Yeah, so I want to wish you the best of luck with the show at the Whisky A Go Go, and also I'm looking forward to hearing some more great music from Steel City and Love and Chains in the coming year.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, and hopefully we'll be able to get some stuff out to you soon. And we look forward to seeing everybody again. Whisky A Go Go, April 12th. Stop out and see us, Roxy Blue, and every last kick-ass band that's on that bill.
All right, buddy. Well, you have a great day, all right?
You too, boss.
All right, we'll talk soon.
See you.
It was down to one. I'm ready to leave it all behind, to salvage what was left of my pride and move on back to another place. It wasn't much, but I had my space. Then you appeared, the thoughts were gone. Yeah, they were gone. You were down to one, ready to leave it all behind, so searching for what you needed to
Machine Show is a weekly radio podcast produced by Jimmy Howell Productions. All rights reserved. For information regarding distribution or adding this podcast to your website, please visit our contact page at therecordmachineshow.com to submit your request. Thanks for listening. See you next time on The Record Machine Show.
The Record Machine Show.